Before we begin, I'd like to preface by saying we're going to be dealing with sensitive topics such as mental health and suicide among teenage populations. And in order to do this as thoughtfully as possible, I'd like everybody to think of at least one teenager in their life that's important to them, whether it be a family member, a child of a friend, or someone you go to church with. And the reason I'd like us to do this is because the numbers we're going to talk about aren't just numbers. They represent real people and the real state of our state and our nation as it stands today. According to the 2025 State of the Youth Louisiana report, it was found that suicide is the third leading cause of death in the state of Louisiana for teenagers. This number is jarring. Now, these teenagers, also known as the high school population, are required to complete certain physical education requirements in order to graduate. They learn how to run a mile, they learn how to create a workout plan, they learn how to lead healthy lives physically. But there's a disparity here. Among the top causes of death, we don't find obesity, we don't find any physical health related issues, but we do see mental health related issues. And that should be waking us up. We need to do something about this. Now, I remember when I was in high school, I had a lot of friends who struggled with their mental health, and we all would have been very grateful if someone could teach us how to deal with it. And because of that, I've done some research to find a solution. And while I did, and while we're going to get into it, first I would like to talk about what teenagers are actually up against, what they're facing, and why they need our support. In 2023, the CDC found that 40% of students within a self-reporting survey said that they had persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness. This is also known as depression. This number is very high. It's almost half of the student population that is struggling in this way. And we can see that depression, hopelessness can often happen towards a midlife crisis, but that age is getting a lot younger. Why are these numbers so high for people so young? Well, for starters, we all know social media has rapidly increased, especially among adolescents, and numerous studies have shown that this can lead to feelings of depression because of comparison. It can cause low self-esteem. And a time when these children are finding their identities, they become confused while looking at others instead of looking on the inside at who they really are. On top of this, there's also family issues. Divorce rates have skyrocketed. We're now at almost 60% divorce rate. We know that family struggles can contribute to mental health crises as well. And then, of course, internal pressures. Hormones are changing. And then, as well as that, we've got academic pressures. Trying to get into a good college, trying to do good on their tests and their exams. All of these things can contribute to what I like to call the perfect storm of mental health components. So they're up against a lot, and they've got nobody to teach them what to do with all of it. And that's where Mental Health 101 comes in. What can we do? Well, the Learning Policy Institute studies continually on how to support high school students throughout their high school journey. And they found that schools who increase their use of social emotional learning show significant decreases in student depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideations. Not only this, but they found when they do more social emotional learning, students want to come to school. There's higher attendance and higher rates of achievement. So we see that teaching students not just about academics, but about mental health, social health, learning about themselves and others, improves their mental health and their actual grades. So what would a mental health course actually entail? Well, first of all, it would be a requirement for graduation in the same way that PE is. And then it would teach students coping skills. How do I deal with the sadness that I'm facing? How do I deal with the pressures at home? What do I do if my friends are experiencing these things? And it would also connect them to resources that they might need. Therapists, counselors, and documents online that they can read to learn more about themselves and others. But what is the practicality of this? How could we actually implement a Mental Health 101 course? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Firstly, it would be relatively easy. We already have classes in place in colleges and high schools across the nation, and Louisiana could pull from the existing curriculum that we already have to build our own curriculum. In addition to this, it'd be cost effective. The number of professionals that we would need to hire is pretty minimal, and this is because Louisiana has an administrative code that says there needs to be one staff counselor per every 450 students. The average number of students in a high school is already at 1,000, which means there should be 2 staff counselors at all times. These are trained mental health professionals who can teach Mental Health 101 courses. And then finally, it's already happening. In 2024, there was a proposed law by a Louisiana senator to require mental health screenings for students every single year. Right now, they're working to get this act passed, but by 2026 or 2027, they're expecting to see this fully in place. So we know that legislators are already worried about this. They believe that mental health is an epidemic. They're already taking steps forward to do something about it. And a Mental Health 101 requirement for high schoolers is just another step in that right direction. But what can we actually do about it? Because I'm pretty sure nobody in here is a senator or on the school board yet. Well, we can write to our senators. Send in a letter and tell them that you would like to see a mental health course required for high school students. Express your concern for the people in your life. Send in the stats that we talked about today. Because if they know that we care, they'll care. Second, join the conversation. Think about the teens in your life. Do they know that you care about them? Do they know that you can support them? Do they know about the resources that they can have? And finally, advocate for education. If you believe that schools should prepare students for life, then you need to think about their mental health as well. Life isn't just academics, and it's not just physical well-being. It all starts with our minds and how we take care of them. So let's make an effort to encourage our legislation to help students learn about their minds, to have a happier and healthier society as a whole. Thank you.